Mary Jane just beat the hell out of Gwen Stacy, and honestly, she had it coming. In Ultimate Spider-Man 20, the tension that's been simmering for months finally explodes, turning a simple dinner into one of the most brutal confrontations we've seen in this series. Let's break down exactly why MJ snapped, and what this means for Peter's entire world. The dinner kicks off at a fancy restaurant Harry Osborn has rented out completely. Chef, waiters, staff, everyone flown in just to make sure no one overhears their conversation. Which, let's be honest, feels less like dinner and more like the setup to a mob meeting. Harry and Gwen are waiting, dressed like they're about to pitch a startup to Shark Tank. Gwen asks, "They're late, are you sure they're coming?" And Harry, calm, smug as ever, says Pete and MJ are exactly the kind of people you can count on. That line actually stuck with me, because in a world of masks and lies, Pete and MJ really are exactly who they appear to be. There's no pretension there. Meanwhile, Harry and Gwen, they're drowning in secrets. And you can feel Hickman setting that contrast right away. When Pete and MJ finally arrive, the whole tone shifts. Harry tries to play it cool, apologizing for the empty restaurant, making this big production about how no one can know he's alive. Even throws on sunglasses like, "Who is this mysterious and handsome man?" Honestly, it's classic Osborn arrogance. Even his disguises are just excuses to call himself attractive. Mary Jane, though, she's not impressed. She's scanning the room, realizing they're completely isolated. And that hits different. Because remember, MJ's whole point in being here is protecting her kids. This setup, with no outsiders, no witnesses, it feels less like a safe meeting and more like a trap. Gwen, meanwhile, gets one of the coldest lines of the night. She tells MJ and Pete, "Whatever it is you want, tonight you'll get your fill," and her face sells it. This isn't reassurance, it's a threat. Gwen Stacy isn't here to comfort anyone, she's here to test Mary Jane. And already you feel the tension simmering. Pete's trying to act like the peacemaker, Harry's hiding behind jokes, but Gwen and MJ, they're staring each other down across the table. Two women who see the world completely differently. One is a mother fighting for her family. The other is someone who's crossed the line so many times she doesn't even believe in the concept of too far anymore. And that clash is what this entire issue is building toward. The food finally hits the table, but nobody's here to eat. Mary Jane leans in and makes it crystal clear she has questions. A billion of them, in fact. Who knows their secrets? What enemies are out there? What's coming for them next? She wants to know because ignorance has nearly cost her kids their lives. And Gwen's reaction? She doesn't answer. She smirks. She literally tells MJ, "You should keep going," like she's daring her to pick a fight. And it works because MJ doesn't back down. MJ calls it like it is. "It's obvious the three of you are joined at the hip. For better or worse, and damn right I'm worried about my kids. I've got a lot more to lose than you do." That's the core difference between these two women. MJ's driven by love and fear for her family. Gwen? She's detached, borderline cruel. She admits she has less to lose, basically nothing, because she's operating with this big picture, cosmic knowledge of the universe mindset Hickman's been hinting at. Gwen isn't thinking about kids, homes, or family dinners. She's thinking about survival on a scale way bigger than Mary Jane can accept. Peter tries to calm the storm. Harry chimes in with his half-smug attempts at mediation, but it doesn't work. MJ's voice cracks. She admits she's been compromising for Peter, over and over, getting dragged across every line she ever tried to draw. And you can feel the weight of that confession. She's not blaming him, but she's tired of living like this. She wipes away tears, looks at them all, and asks the hardest question of the night. Where does it end? When does it stop? And Gwen, sipping her wine like a supervillain in denial, just says, "It ends when we win." That right there is the breaking point. Because for MJ, this isn't about winning or losing. It's about her children, her family, her peace of mind. For Gwen, everything is expendable. Shaken, MJ excuses herself to the bathroom, needing space, needing to breathe. But Gwen Stacy doesn't let her go alone. And that's where this already tense dinner is about to explode into one of the most savage moments of Hickman's run. Inside the bathroom, Gwen shifts gears. She doesn't come in to comfort MJ. She doesn't even try to de-escalate. Instead, she delivers another cold speech. She tells Mary Jane that everyone has a weakness. For Gwen, it's when she's not wearing her amulet. She admits she's vulnerable, even useless, without it. But for MJ, Gwen says her weakness is constant. Her kids, her family, every single minute of every single day. And the way Gwen says it isn't empathetic, it's cruel. She frames it like a problem Mary Jane should have already solved, like being a mother is just an exploitable flaw in the grand chessboard of this war. Then Gwen lays her cards down. She doesn't care about MJ's peace of mind. She cares about Peter. He's stronger, faster, better at this. When people look up and hope for someone to save them, they want to see him. But then she twists it. Peter's innocence, his refusal to cross that final line, to Gwen, that's not a strength, it's a weakness, and she wants him to let go of it, to be willing to kill. That's the moment you realize Gwen Stacy isn't just an ally with a dark past. She's a threat sitting at Peter's side, because she's already crossed that line, and she wants him to follow. But Mary Jane, she's not buying it. She pushes back, reminding Gwen that she's nothing without her amulet, that her own power is conditional. Gwen concedes, but she spins it, saying at least her vulnerability has limits, while MJ's never goes away. It's cruel, dismissive. The kind of selfish logic that shows just how far gone Gwen really is. So MJ asks one last question. When do you get your amulet back? And Gwen answers, in 11 days. Why? That's when Mary Jane Parker finally does what every reader has been waiting for. She punches Gwen Stacy straight into the bathroom stall. Wham! It's brutal, it's cathartic, and honestly, it's deserved. Because for an entire issue, Gwen's been needling, dismissing, and undermining MJ. And here, in one panel, MJ reminds her, she's not weak. She's not just the mom tagging along in their war. She's someone you don't talk down to. And the best part? For the first time in this issue, Mary Jane actually looks satisfied. Not fixed, not safe, but like she's finally reclaimed a little bit of control in a world where she's been forced to compromise again and again. Back at the table, Peter and Harry are trying to play it cool, sipping wine and joking like nothing's wrong. Harry even says, Gwen's a problem solver, I'm sure they worked it out. And honestly, that line made me laugh, because yeah, Gwen solved it by getting punched in the face. When MJ finally returns, Peter immediately notices something's off. He asks what happened, but MJ doesn't explain. Instead, she makes her position crystal clear. She looks at Peter. You're a good man. She turns to Harry. And you could be too. But then her eyes shift toward Gwen, who's still reeling from that bathroom beatdown. And MJ says the words that hang over the entire issue. But your wife? She's going to get everyone killed. That's the gut punch of this story. It's not Peter. It's not Harry. It's Gwen Stacy who Mary Jane sees as the real danger. And honestly, after that bathroom scene, she's not wrong. The issue closes on a darker note. In some shadowy back room, surrounded by masks, we see another player preparing to make their move. The narration tells us plainly, someone needs to do something about that. And with that, the book ends. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic character beats here. MJ standing her ground, Gwen being exposed as a genuine threat, the tension boiling over. But as a whole, this issue is basically a filler. Nothing new is revealed. The plot barely moves forward. It feels like a mid-season TV episode where they stole the main story just to remind the audience of where everyone stands. And with only 4 issues left before this run wraps into the ultimate endgame, I was hoping Hickman would start hitting the gas. Instead, we get a bottle episode with a great punch. Don't get me wrong, I loved the punch, but I wanted more. So hopefully the next issue finally ramps things up, because this story deserves to go out with a bang, not just another dinner argument. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments. Is Gwen Stacy the true villain of this series, or is Hickman still playing the long game? I'll see you in the next video.